The message was clear in Keir Starmer's first speech as UK Prime Minister. The work of change begins immediately. Starmer, elected after a landslide election victory on July 4th, has promised to rebuild a country which voted en masse for a change in direction amid widespread public anger over ailing public services and a stuttering economy. Massive issues facing the new government include boosting economic growth, reforming the social care system, and finding new funding for local authorities. But just a few days into the job, 6 topics have emerged as immediate priorities for PM Starmer. In today's video, we will tell you 6 things UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer wants to fix in his first month of being in office. So, if you've not already, subscribe to our channel and ring the bell for upcoming updates. Now let's delve into the video. Starmer told journalists at his first press conference after entering Nomad 10 Downing Street that the Rwanda scheme was dead and buried before it started and had immigration. Starmer has already confirmed he will immediately junk his Tory predecessor Rishi Sunak's flagship immigration policy of deporting asylum seekers to the African nation of Rwanda, a strategy that was recently cemented in law after facing a series of challenges in the courts. The scheme cost British taxpayers hundreds of millions of pounds, without a single person being deported. NHS strikes. Health Secretary Wes Streeting arrived with a sharp message for Britain's creaking health service, telling his new department that all officials should regard the NHS as broken. Streeting spoke to the British Medical Association, BMA, which represents thousands of NHS medics, in the immediate aftermath of Labour's election victory, and said he wanted to restart talks in an attempt to end a long-running pay dispute with junior doctors. Prisons crisis. The prison system in England and Wales is close to breaking point, with the latest official figures showing 87 Cure 453 spaces are occupied out of a total of 88,864. The crisis was identified before the election by Starmer's Chief of Staff, Sue Gray, as one of the biggest immediate problems Labour would have to address on entering office. Labour has already committed to keeping the previous Conservative government's early release scheme in place to ease levels of overcrowding and plans to revamp planning laws, more on that below, to make it faster to build new prisons. Planning reform. An overhaul of the planning system will be a central plank of the King's speech after Starmer pledged to rebuild Britain brick by brick. Labour has promised to get major infrastructure projects moving much faster by redefining what is nationally significant and rewriting so-called national policy statements with the intention of making it harder for local authorities to block development. Starmer's winning manifesto also committed to building 1.5 million new homes over the next Parliament, focused on using brownfield sites, as well as the grey belt, scrubland on the outskirts of British towns or disused petrol stations that have been officially designated green belt. Relations with nations and regions. The new Prime Minister has immediately embarked on a tour of Britain's devolved nations to seek a reset of relations with the First Ministers of Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Discussing the Four Nations tour at his press conference Saturday, Starmer said he wanted not just to meet the First Ministers to discuss the challenges they face, but to establish a way of working across the United Kingdom that will be different and better to the way of working that we've had in recent years. EU relations. After years of tension and acrimony between the UK and its European neighbours over the terms and legacy of Brexit, Starmer has indicated his intention to open a new chapter of relations with the European Union. The new PM told German Chancellor Olaf Scholz in a phone call shortly after taking office that he wanted greater economic cooperation, while a separate call with French President Emmanuel Macron covered shared priorities, including migration and the economy. UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy made his first overseas visit to Berlin barely 24 hours after being sworn in, declaring that it's time to reset our relationship with our European friends and allies. High on the agenda is Labour's stated ambition of negotiating a veterinary agreement with the bloc in a bid to smooth trade and reduce border friction for businesses. Simon Harris, Ireland's Tory siege, said Sunday that the EU is absolutely open to discussing an overhaul of the post-Brexit trading relationship. We hope this information was helpful to you.